For many people, New Year's resolutions can be both a blessing and a curse. Every year we make these resolutions, and only rarely do they become lifelong habits that enrich our life. So this year, I really was praying and doing a lot of heart searching about what some goals or resolutions for 2012 could be for me. And I came up with several that I'm going to share with you. My first goal for 2012 is to reread and implement Managers of Their Home, or MOTH for short. MOTH is a scheduling book. It teaches you how to schedule for your family. And when I read it the first time, it was such a blessing to me. It got me fired up about scheduling, if that's even possible, because I am not, for many of you who know me, I am not a naturally organized person. So for Moth to do that was really incredible. One of the things that I really liked about this book, and that really helped me to catch a vision for my family, were schedules of other moms. They had these schedules that other moms had put together in the back of the book, and who wouldn't want to look at another mom's schedule and get ideas and see what works for other people? So that was one of the really great things about the Moth book. And also they had testimonials and tips throughout the book and why we should have a scheduled home. So that all of that really worked together to make me desire to have a schedule. And I noticed a difference when I was using our schedule in the way the kids acted. They were calmer because they knew what to expect. So in 2011, we really got away from the schedule. And in 2012, I hope that we can get back on our schedule. And I'm actually working right now on a presentation about home management and including some of the things that I've learned in the Moth book. So I'm really excited about incorporating that again in our lives. Another goal that I had was to make uplifting music a part of our everyday life. I know I read a quote in the book Education, page 167, and it said, "Let there be singing in the home of songs that are sweet and pure, and there will be fewer words of censure and more of cheerfulness, hope, and joy." I would love to have more cheerfulness, hope, and joy in my family, and to have us talking in that kind of a way. So I am really looking forward to having more music. I'm trying to sing as I'm working around the house, especially on preparation day. I've started listening to an album by the Peaceall Sisters, and I have that playing quite a bit in the house. The Peaceall Sisters, Home to You. It's young girls that are singing and they're playing their instruments. They have beautiful harmony. When I first started listening to it, the kids, they were just like, "Oh, Mom, why do we have to listen to this? You know, we don't like this music." But pretty soon they started coming to me and asking me to play specific songs from the album. So it's starting to wear off on them, and I'm really excited to see it. I have noticed a difference. I read a book, I think probably about 4 years ago. It was called The Power of Spoken Blessings by Bill Gothard. In that book, you know, most of us have been taught that the words that we speak have an effect on on people around us, especially our children. But I had never heard before that it can actually be positive or negative prophecies in other people's lives, what we say. So as I was reading through that book, it made me consider more, what am I actually saying to my kids? What's coming out of my mouth? And this year, in 2012, I would really like if I am speaking words of blessing. I have a friend, he has this saying, "Chew your words before you speak them. If they're bitter, swallow them." And that's what I would really like to see happen in my life. One of the things that I'm praying for in my life this year is that I will speak words of blessings to the hearer. And if it's not a blessing, then it goes unsaid. The Bible tells us that a joyful heart makes a cheerful face, but when the heart is sad, the spirit is broken. That's Proverbs 15:13. Last year, my 3-year-old came up to me several times that I can remember. It really had an impact on me. And he said, "Mama, are you mad at me?" And I hadn't really said anything, but I think he was picking up on cues from my body language, my facial expression, and my tone. And I started to think, what is going on that would make him think that I am angry with him? And I started to realize that a lot of the things that were going on in my mind and in my heart were negative. I was thinking about things that were making me angry or that were making me upset. And that was translating into the way I was acting and how I was even looking. So I started, as I was praying about what to do in 2012, I started to think that really meditating upon good things and watching what I'm thinking about and pondering is going to be one of my goals for 2012. One of the tools that I'm going to use this year to do that, I found in a book called Becoming the Woman I Want to Be by Donna Parto. And in it, she talks about the really great things that we can all get from using Bible-based affirmations in our daily life. So one of my favorite was Luke 1:37, and it's one that I've been thinking about as I've been trying to implement this goal into my life. And it is, "I know that nothing is impossible with God. He is able to transform my life from the inside out." That's one of the great things about God's Word, is that we can get so many positive thoughts, and it will change our hearts and our minds as we put Scripture into our heart. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to be really working on this year. In December of 2011, I started reading a book called Passionate Housewives, Desperate for God. And at first, as I'm reading the introduction, I thought, oh, this is going to be such a great book. I'm so excited. It's going to challenge me. I could tell that already. And then I got into the book, and I started to realize that as I was reading it, that I really did not see eye to eye with a lot of things that the authors were saying. And it was making me a little bit angry as I was reading it. And so, I felt like just throwing the book across the room a couple times even. But I kept reading, and as I did so, God spoke to my heart, and He said to me, "You are really He wants me to serve my family and let Him worry about meeting my needs." Now, often I would go and go into the living room, and I'd see toys scattered everywhere. I'd go into the kitchen, I'd see dishes piled high, messy counters. I'd go downstairs to the laundry room, and there'd be laundry piled high, and I started to really get upset because I felt like I was being taken advantage of, that my family really didn't care. They just thought I was a maid, and they didn't really care about my time. And whenever one person in the house doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing, that falls upon someone else, and it takes time away from somebody else. And that is exactly what I was feeling. I was feeling taken advantage of and defeated, like I wasn't really cared about. So God taught me that attitude was very, very selfish, that I was trying to meet my own needs, and that I was trying to push that need upon other people, upon people in my family. So modeling servanthood while trusting God to supply my needs became another one of my goals in 2012. And I'm just really praying about that, and please pray for me as well, because it's going to be a totally paradigm shift, a total paradigm shift for me. Several years ago, a friend introduced me to once a month cooking. And I got online and I started researching about it and found it, all these things about it, and I tried it, but I didn't stay consistent in all of it. One of the things that I stayed consistent in was making up a monthly meal plan that I had posted on the refrigerator, so we knew what we were having every day, and that did take a lot of the stress off of, before I had at the last minute tried to figure out what we were going to have to eat, and we didn't have everything we need to make it, and it was just a real stressful situation. But that took that stress off of me, and it freed me up, and the kids knew what to expect for meals, and it was really great. But I was not making large quantities of food and freezing it, which is the main premise of once a month cooking. So this year, I would really like to do that. To once a month, cook for the entire month and have it frozen and ready to go. January, I started it. It has been a great month. I have not experienced the typical cooking burnout that I have in the past. And one of the things that I used to springboard me into this once a month cooking was the book, The Freezer Cooking Manual from 30 Day Gourmet. It has great testimonials. Again, I just love stories about people, and so that is one of the things that motivates me. So it has testimonials, which I love. It has tips. It has recipes, great recipes in it, and they take all the guesswork out of it. They tell you exactly how much you're going to need to chop, how many onions you're going to need to chop for, 12 servings or whatever of this meal. So it's been really good. I'm really excited about using the once a month cooking this month, or for the rest of the year. On January 30th, 2011, I started a fitness journey. I began P90X. And for those of you who know me personally, you know that I lost 35 pounds within a year. And I have felt so great. I've got muscle tone and I have so much energy. One of the quotes that I have just recently heard from Tony Horton, the creator of P90X, was, "For some reason, too many of us have forgotten or have never been taught that joy, happiness, health, fitness, loving relationships, and financial success all stem from hard work, persistence, and the occasional bit of physical, mental, or emotional discomfort." That's something that I can say was definitely true for me. But I have really seen the great benefits to having a lifestyle of fitness, to working hard, and even though it might not feel great all the time, there is great benefits to that. So my next goal was to continue to exercise 6 days a week and continue with my exercise journey. Over the course of the next few weeks, I am going to be blogging about what I've learned from my resolutions, and I'm sure that they're not going to all turn out the way that I imagine that they will. I'm sure that God's going to throw some surprises in there, but I'm really looking forward to see what God is doing. That verse in Proverbs 16:3, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I know God has amazing plans, amazing things in store, and those plans are not for disaster, but to give me a future and a hope. I can't wait to see what God is planning and doing in my life in 2012, and I hope He richly blesses you as well.